So here's what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what kind of symptoms these tools are used for. And then I'm going to teach you the first tool, how to get powerful anxiety relief in under 2 minutes. And then tool number 2, how to get deep relaxation and calmly fall asleep. Tool number 3, how to get long-term relief to keep anxiety away for years. And at the very end of the call, of the webinar here, I'm going to give more free resources to help you with your PTSD, if that is kind of the reason you're here, because of PTSD and CPTSD. And I'm going to do a short Q&A session. So does this all sound good to everyone? All right, all yeses there, so awesome. And, now I want to share with you what my goal for today's training is. And this is what I want you to get out of this here today. So first, I want to teach you how to get relief on demand. Now, most people suffering with PTSD, and every time I say PTSD, it also applies to CPTSD. So I'm just going to say PTSD for the ease of it. But most people suffering with PTSD have no clue about how to get relief from their symptoms. They basically feel controlled by their past. And so my first goal is to teach you the methods to help you feel in control of your life again. And secondly, I want to help you do the things you love again, like going to the movies, being around crowds of people, going outside. Most people I work with have tremendous amounts of anxiety, and when they try to do everyday tasks, right? The sights, the sounds, the pressure of regular life can feel impossible to face when you have anxiety and PTSD. But it's my goal to teach you these tools so you can get outside and really start doing the things you love again. And my last goal is to show you that it is possible to get better and that recovery is not impossible. Anxiety and PTSD are not a life sentence, so you can live a life completely free of it. And I'm never going to tell you that it's impossible. I know that each and every one of you here can make a full recovery from your anxiety and your PTSD. You just need the roadmap to get there, and it is my goal today to start building that belief. I want to show you that you can get relief from your symptoms, and that really is the first step to building that belief in full recovery. So how does that sound? All right, a lot of agreement there. Pretty great. Yep. I wish I had this information when I was recovering from my own PTSD. So are you all excited to learn these tools? All right, awesome. And if you stick around to the end of the training today, I have something super special to give you. I'm going to be handing out a free workbook, and in it, I'm going to give you a detailed step-by-step guide on each tool I'm teaching today. So notes on everything we discuss and additional free resources to help you along your recovery journey. Now, this thing is really amazing, and I really want you to leave here today with an actionable plan to get relief. And that's why I created this free workbook for you, so you can have a guide and a reference to use these tools in your life. So who's excited for the workbook? All right, lots of people excited for that, right? So it is honestly going to change your life forever. I still remember when I learned these tools, and my life was literally never the same. So your whole life shifts when you can literally get relief on demand, and you can start going out with your friends again, feel calm around the ones you love. And I'm so excited to be sharing these tools because they're really going to change your life that much. Now, of course, presenting this webinar today is me, Kayleen. That's a picture of me and my pup Shiloh right there. And I'm a successful PTSD recovery coach and personally overcame over 15 years of CPTSD in less than 2 years. And, I used to have constant flashbacks, anxiety, night terrors, hypervigilance for my own CPTSD. But now I no longer do. And what I do now is devote my life to helping others make that same transformation in a positive, safe, and supportive environment. So I'm here to help you make the same transformation that I did. And this is the first step, right? And I've, of course, not only done it for myself, I've helped thousands of people around the world recover from PTSD, people who, have went through 20 years of trauma, and they quickly overcame their flashbacks, nightmares, constant anxiety. And I don't say this to brag, because that's not what I'm about, and that's not who I am. I love to tell these stories just to give you hope, because like I said, it doesn't matter how long you've suffered, you can make a full recovery. And again, I know people who've suffered for more than 70 years and they recovered from complex PTSD. So, what I do now is I run a free podcast, a blog, online support groups, and a fully transformational PTSD recovery program called Broken to Unbreakable that walks people through every step of the recovery journey. And I personally used to struggle with all sorts of anxiety, right? Feeling constantly on edge, and I would be jumpy from every little sound and movement, like drop of a pencil, right? And I had uncontrollable social anxiety. I couldn't talk in groups of people, and I would just isolate from everyone. I would have constant panic attacks where I had to hide myself away from life, where I was just consumed with fear and a slew of other phobias. And these tools right here help me get relief from all of that. So here's a little about these tools before we dive in here. So the tools that we're going to teach today are not theory. They are what have been proven to work, and not only with me either. They've been tested and proven on thousands of people around the world. I get messages literally every day from people telling me how these tools have changed their lives. And while I teach you these tools, I need you to keep an open mind. To some of these tools might seem a little bit strange or too far out, but those who are successful keep an open mind. So I urge you to test all these tools in your own life and give them all a try and see how you react to them. Because if you never try new things, you'll never change. So really, really important there. And lastly, make sure you give each of these tools the opportunity to work. And some take more practice than others, right? Does that sound fair? All sound good? Yeah, it sounds fair. Consistency, exactly, right. Awesome. All right. So, and here are the symptoms that these tools will help relieve: stress, panic and fear, heart palpitations. For those of you who have that kind of like racing heart in the background, that's like that stressed heart, sleep problems, uncontrollable thoughts, shortness of breath, tense muscles, brain fog, and lack of mental clarity, and so much more, right? So if you're experiencing any of these, make sure to pay super close attention. And even though just getting relief from anxiety will not quote unquote cure your PTSD, it does have a very useful role. So first we need to get you some relief right now so we can get to focus on the deeper work at a later point that will really heal you and heal your past later. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, welcome to tool number 1, how to get relief in under 2 minutes. So, again, with that open mind, right, before you discredit this and say something like, no way, that's impossible, I can't get relief in just 2 minutes, just hear me out and run a quick 2-minute experiment to find out for yourself. You're going to be so shocked at how well this tool works. So the first tool is called the butterfly hug, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step process. So the butterfly hug is very straightforward. So here is step number 1. If possible, go to a quiet space and get into a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Step 2, cross your arms over your chest. Your right hand should be resting just below your left collarbone, and your left hand should be resting just below your right collarbone. So when you do this, your arms are crossed over your chest, just like in the photo of me right there. And step 3 is to close your eyes, start taking slow, deep breaths, and start alternating taps with your hands just below each of your collarbones. Now you can see how my hands are raised in the photos below. So you are literally just doing alternate tapping right below each of your collarbones. Step number 4 is continue the deep breaths and the tapping. Adjust the speed and the force of the tapping to what's most comfortable for you. So you're going to need to experiment with faster or slower, harder or softer taps. Find what suits you the best. And it's best to start with whatever is most comfortable for you in that moment. And then step 5, when you are ready, you can stop tapping and check in with yourself to see how things have calmed down. So your body should be less tense and your mind should be more at ease. So if you sense any more tension you would like to work with, close your eyes and restart the tapping. So there you have it, right? Just plain and simple. It's pretty simple, right? Yeah, very simple. Is anyone doing it? Few people doing it. Yeah, keep doing it. It's so amazing. Yep, it's like magic, right? It is like magic. And I'm going to explain just in a second how that all works, right? But those are the exact steps on how to do the butterfly hug. It's a very simple process, but incredibly effective. So you're going to be amazed at how well it works. I see a lot of people in there saying it's like magic, right? And how it gives you almost instant relief from your anxiety symptoms. Okay, so now let's talk about why the butterfly hug works. So let me just give you a quick explanation on why it works, because it's one thing to know the process, but it's just as important to know why it works. So the butterfly hug works because it essentially simulates REM sleep. So if you don't know, REM stands for rapid eye movement. So REM sleep is literally when you are asleep and your eyes move really, really fast left to right underneath your eyelids, right? That's the very basic explanation of it. And the REM, the REM sleep cycle, is one of the deepest parts of your sleep, and it's where you process all the information from the day you just had. And the key word there is process. So REM sleep processes the memories and the information you had from your day. The rapid eye movement when you sleep causes the left and right sides of your brain to be stimulated. And the left and right stimulation of the brain is what helps us process things. So when we are tapping the left and right sides of our body, it has the same effect as REM sleep. So when we tap our sides, we stimulate the left and right sides of our brain, and that allows us to process our thoughts and emotions. Now, when we do it, we're just focusing on breathing and tapping. You don't have to think about your emotions or thoughts. So nothing like that, right? So just focus on your breathing and tapping, and your subconscious will do the work for you. So, that's kind of the short and to the point version, of course, but hopefully that gives you a little insight as to why it works, other than magic, right? So, because, if we don't know why, it can just kind of seem like magic. And it's going to amaze you. I know a few of you are trying it right now. A few of you said you're going to try it when you're done. When you try it, it's going to amaze you, right? So isn't that kind of cool? We can use our own natural processing systems to get relief from anxiety. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, like we have it all in there. We just need to know how to harness it. So the butterfly hug will honestly change your life. And I really can't wait to hear how the rest of you like it when you're done with the training and you try it out when you get time to do it. And it's so, so amazing. So, yeah, actually, I do know why it's called the butterfly hug. It was actually named for children. So it was actually a process designed for children because they couldn't quite understand. For children, sometimes the young children, it's hard for the self-reflection. So they just needed something to help them calm that anxiety, right? And so it was invented for kids. And that's why it's called the butterfly hug. It's just easy to remember. So now I want to tell you about some alternatives to the butterfly hug. And you can't always find a quiet place to get away and do the butterfly hug, which is fine. So here are some alternatives that you can do pretty much anywhere at any time. So the first alternative is tapping your legs. So what you can do is tap the left and right sides of the top of your thighs. Now, again, this has the same effect and can be used discreetly in almost any environment, whether it's at work, at school, or at a dinner party, right? It's really great one to use before bed because you're laying down already. You can relax your arms and just tap on the top of your right and left leg, of course, until you calm down and fall asleep. And it works particularly well when you wake up in the middle of the night and need to calm down, right? So again, it's an instant, it's under 2 minutes, and you barely have to move, right? So that tapping is absolutely amazing on the legs. That's a great one, especially when you're sitting at a desk or anything like that. The next one here is visualizing energy. So the second alternative is a visualization exercise. Now, this isn't for everyone, but for those of you who are very visual, right, what you can do is actually visualize energy flowing from one arm to the next, right? Left to right, right to left. Sometimes it can be helpful to visualize light flowing from one arm to the next. And when you do this correctly, you should be able to feel almost like a slight tingling in each arm as you visualize the energy flowing in. And this is another one that can be done anywhere. And visualization can take some time to practice, but it can be a really helpful one for someone if you don't want to tap or you don't have the means to tap or it's the wrong kind of environment to tap. And the last one here is using your eyes. So to increase the effectiveness of any of the variations, you can also follow the taps or the visualized energy with your eyes. So again, this can be done with your eyes closed or your eyes open, whichever is most comfortable for you. All right, so that is the first tool. And I guess the last variation, that one of my personal favorites, was actually doing it with one hand. So instead of putting both your hands and crossing your hands, you could just take one of your hands and, tap one side of your body with your thumb and the other side with like your middle finger, right? So you just have to use one hand right on your chest, right on your collarbones there. So that would be the last one. So give this a go and try out the different variations there. And, whenever you get a chance. And remember that I'm handing out the exact guide on how to do this at the end of the training. So if you're going to need a little refresher, stick around to the end, grab the free workbook. All right, so now let's dive into the next tool. So welcome to our second relief tool. Tool number 2 is all about deep, long-lasting relaxation. Now, this one is particularly helpful right before bed when you want to put yourself in a peaceful and relaxing state. Now, this exercise can be as long or as short as you need it, and I usually do it for around 15 minutes, but it can last as long as you'd like. And the second relief tool is called the Mind Palace. Are you all excited about this one? Awesome. All right. If you're not, you should be. This one is really fun and really effective with giving you complete relaxation and calm. So this is a visualization exercise where you design your mind palace. Now you're probably wondering, what is a mind palace? So your mind palace is a fictitious place that you invent. It's a place where you feel completely at ease, where everything is calm, peaceful, and serene, and just how you like it. And it can be absolutely anything. It could be the summit of a mountain. It could be an elaborate, ornate mansion. It could be Hogwarts. It could be a house made out of clouds. It could be a cave behind a waterfall. It could be the moon, right? So you get the point, but it's a place that you come up with and make all your own. So the goal is to create one mind palace and make it as detailed as possible in your brain. So if your mind palace is at the summit of a mountain, you want to know and imagine everything around you. So you want to imagine things like what time of day it is, what the temperature is, what the breeze feels like on your skin, and what it sounds like flowing through the trees. You know, what the mountain stream looks like and how it sounds, what the gravelly ground sounds like beneath your feet as you walk, what the evergreen tree feels like as you walk by and you brush the bark on your shoulder. You want to know every single detail of your mind palace, and you want to make it as real as possible. The more real and the more detailed it is, the more relaxing this practice will be. So the more you practice and the more you visit your mind palace, the more detailed it will get. Your imagination will get stronger, and your ability to visualize will improve, because visualization in itself is a skill. It's like a muscle. So if you find that you're not really good at visualizing, or that you get distracted doing it at first, absolutely don't worry. That's part of the process. You're going to get better in time and with practice. And so now I want to give you an example of my mind palace so you can really kind of get a handle on what it's supposed to look like. And I go through the same motions every time I visit my mind palace. So let me just kind of set the scene for you. So my mind palace is a custom-built house on the edge of a mountain filled with evergreen trees. And the house is more like a half-circle deck. It looks like an amphitheater. So it has no ceiling. It's just the stars above. And I start my visualization on the outside of my house in the middle of the night. Now it's fairly chilly out, and I'm wearing a robe and sandals. It has bright white gravel driveway, and when I walk, I hear the gravel crunching beneath my feet. I take one step up the front wooden plank door that has a compass rose doorknob on it. I place my old-fashioned key into the keyhole, and I open the door as the hinges squeak. As I open the door, I feel the cool air from inside of my house, and my house has teak wooden planks, so I can hear the sound my sandals make when they slide against the floor and slap back against my heels. And from there, you kind of get the picture. So you want to make the scene as detailed as possible. You want to pay attention to each sense and make sure that they are all represented. And eventually, in my mind palace, I go into a hot tub that stares off the edge of the mountain to an incredible view, right? And it's midnight and all the stars are out. And that's where I spend most of the time in my mind palace and become completely relaxed. And no one else is in that world with me, right? Sometimes my dog actually is there with me. But it's just us. No one else is in the world. So I can feel that serene calm. All right, so what is your mind palace going to look like? Anybody have any ideas yet? All right, so yeah, those are awesome. A few people going with Hogwarts, all right, some Harry Potter fans. So you should be thinking and brainstorming right now of your ideal mind palace so you can practice it today after the training or tonight. So try experimenting with a few ideas and see which one gives you the most relaxation. And like I said, it's an incredible tool to use right before bed to calm you down and put you into a deep, relaxed state. And sometimes I even dream about mine. So try this tonight. And I still do this, right? Even though I don't need to, I love it. It's super fun because I love dreaming about mine. And it's just a great exercise. And this practice alone can actually reduce nightmares if you're having nightmares from PTSD or CPTSD, and it might be able to give you the first good night's sleep you've had in a long time. For a lot of people, it does. And again, it takes a little bit of time to get there, but the Mind Palace combined with the butterfly hug or one of its alternatives is an excellent nightly routine to help you fall asleep and be asleep in a calm state. All right, so how did you like tool number 1 and tool number 2? They're pretty great, right? All right, yeah, I know. And if you actually take action on these tools I'm teaching you, they are absolutely going to change your life. I can promise you that. And I cannot stress that enough. If you put these tools into action, you're going to see amazing changes. All right, so let's dive into the final tool here. So tool number 3, getting relief that lasts. This last one is amazing and has transformed my life and probably literally millions of people around the world. And this is how you get long-term relief and keep anxiety away for years on end. And it's one word: meditation. Now, you've probably heard of meditation before, but I'm going to tell you a few really surprising things about it that you probably have never heard before. So for those of you who don't know, what is meditation? Well, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique, such as focusing their mind on a particular object, thought, or activity, to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm state. Now, the key words here are mentally clear and emotionally calm state. And that's where the healing powers of meditation come in. And before you start saying something about monks or hippies or whatever, meditation is not a religion. And it's not only a spiritual practice. Although it is used in religion and spirituality, there have been so many scientific studies that have been conducted on the benefits of meditation. So I want to just explain a few of the findings here. So meditation is actually proven to grow your brain. And yes, you heard me right. It is proven to grow your brain. There is a thing that happens when you meditate called neurogenesis, which essentially means the growth and the connections of neurons in your brain. Now, I'm not going to go into the deep science of neurogenesis, but you can think about it like this. Meditation is like a workout for your brain. So there is scientifically based evidence for the benefits of meditation. But, right, and I can see a few questions there, how do you meditate? And what do you need? So I've supplied you with a free download of a guided meditation in the workbook that I'm handing out at the end of the training today. But really, you don't need anything at all. You already have everything that you need to start meditation today, right now. It's just a simple technique that a lot of people like to overcomplicate. So I'm going to teach you the simple 3-step process to breath-focused meditation. Step 1, sit or lay down. Be relaxed, but have good posture. Try not to fidget. Notice things like itches, but do your best not to engage with them. Step 2, focus on your breath. Close your eyes and focus on how the breath feels in your body. If you get lost in thought, just gently bring back your focus to your breath and the sensations that you're feeling in your body. Just keep focusing on your breath and let thoughts float by like clouds, observing them, but not giving them any attention. And it's really important not to judge yourself if you lose focus on your breath and engage with a thought. When you bring your mind back from these shifts and drifts is actually when your brain grows. So that might be a little bit confusing, but actually being bad at meditation and bringing it back to the breath is what makes you grow. And that is what makes you get stronger. And that's where that neurogenesis happens, right? So when you get lost in the thought, you notice it, bring it back to the breath. That's where the power is. So don't do any judgment there if you can. That's actually the best part. And then step 3, be intensely aware of how your breath feels and how your mind wanders. Notice all the sensations in your breathing, the expansion of your lungs, and the feeling of your clothing as your stomach expands, how the air feels flowing through your body, your nose, your mouth, your throat. Stay focused on your breath, but there is no need to change your breathing. So do your best to just breathe naturally, right? So sometimes when we get in our head, we start to breathe way, way fast or way, way slow. Do your best just to be there and notice your breath. And if you're experiencing some stress or anxiety, you can take deeper breaths to calm yourself down until you feel relaxed taking those normal breaths. So you can even use the butterfly hug for a while just to calm yourself down enough so you can meditate. And again, the goal over time is to have your mind be still, like a pond with no ripples. Now, again, don't expect to be able to do this right out the gate. There's no need to judge yourself, get frustrated or angry. Just allow everything to be as it is. It's not about success or failure. It's simply about doing. Mind wandering will happen. Just remember that the goal is to notice where your mind has gone and gently bring it back to the breath. And again, that's where the strength, that's where the power is. All right, so congratulations. Now you know how to meditate, right? And that's it. And it's so important that we don't overcomplicate it. So now you know how to meditate, how long and how often should you meditate. So this number changes for everyone. Now here is what I suggest to every one of my clients. Meditate for 5 to 15 minutes twice a day, once when you wake up and once before you go to sleep. Build the habit of doing it every single day, and if you can't do it twice per day, do it once. A little bit of meditation every single day is better than one long meditation only done once. So even if you're only meditating for 5 minutes once a day, that's okay. And remember that meditation is a long-term solution to your anxiety. So it takes time to build up that muscle in your brain, right? You're going to start to see noticeable differences within a week of meditation, but it's important with this more than anything else to stay consistent over time. So just like the muscles in the rest of your body, if you stop meditation, you're going to lose the skill and have to start over. So does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, all right. Awesome. How'd you like that tool? A lot clearer now. That's awesome. That's what we're here for. A lot of people like to overcomplicate it. Yeah. And so just like the other tools, I have a step-by-step process laid out in that free workbook that you're going to get at the end there. So, and that, you've finished the final relief tool. So great job. We did it. Right. And now it's time to put them into practice and get some much needed relief. So I have a little extra time here at the end. So I'm going to open it up for a Q&A and get as many questions in as I can. So let me just scroll through and find them. And while I do, I just want to say all of these tools, consistency over time, everything that I teach, for those of you who know me, I'm action-based. If I could be in your shoes and do it, I would. I promise I would. I would love to do that. But that's not how life works, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? You have to take action on these, and they will change your life. I promise you that. All right, so if you have any questions here, just type them in the chat box. Again, they get sent directly to me. It says send email. So feel free to ask whatever you like. They're completely private. So let me just find a few here. Okay, so John says, I don't believe that I'm someone who can truly and fully recover from PTSD. Hey, John. So thank you so much for showing up today and for sharing this, because I know that's a challenging thing to share. And I completely understand that point of view, because I used to be in that exact same spot you're in right now. And I had CPTSD for nearly my entire life, right? Over 15 years. And I was told by everyone that I couldn't heal, right? Doctors, therapists, and other so-called experts that, I just had to accept that this was my new normal. And I felt like there was absolutely no hope. But there was a single moment in my life where that changed, when I was at my rock bottom, the lowest of my low. I gave myself 2 choices. Number 1 was to give up on everything. And number 2 was to give it one last shot and put all of my energy and time into healing. So I gave it one more push. I spent all of my money on resources and help. And after 2 years of dedicating this was my life, right? I dedicated every single waking moment, every breath to this. I came out a completely new person after 2 years. But if, I believed what some of the doctors and the therapists said, I would never have healed. So what I have to say to you, John, is that you can heal. And I have helped people who have gone through decades of abuse and trauma, and they thought their lives were over. And, they felt like me. They were ready to just end everything, but they got up and they gave it one more shot, and they're living the life that they were told was impossible. So there are so many success stories out there, John. You just need to keep your eyes open for them. There's a lot of negativity in this world, and it will tear you up if you're not careful. So keep yourself in front of inputs that build the belief that you can recover. And if you or anyone else on here wants me to kind of send you a few success stories, just let me know in the chat box, and I can send them out to you to help help you build that belief. And also, yeah, I do a podcast every day, every weekday. It's called PTSD TV, where I give actionable, actually my partner and I, my boyfriend and I, give actionable advice and help build the belief that recovery is 100% possible for every single person, no matter how long it's been, no matter how long you've had it, or how bad things are. I believe in you, right? I know that you can do this. I promise. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out and connect with me after this training either. I'm always happy to help. But John, keep yourself in front of those positive inputs. There are people that have done it, right? I've done it. I've been there, and you don't have to take my word for it. Go watch the podcast. You can go to my YouTube channel. All of these things where I share client successes, and I just share even non-client successes, people that just like reach out to me sometimes on Facebook and they're like, hey, I love what you're doing. I overcame PTSD too, and now I'm just living my life, right? And they reach out. And so like, they just keep your head up, keep yourself in front of the people who have done it, because it'll change your life. So great question. All right, so Sarah is asking about the workbook. So if anyone's waiting around for the workbook, that is going to be given out at the end of this Q&A here in just a few minutes. So we're going to go through a few questions, and then once we're done with that, I'll hand that out as promised to make sure you stick around for that. It's awesome, and you definitely want to get your hands on it, and I'm going to post a link here in just a little bit, so keep your eye out for that. And yes, the reason that I do that, right, is because teacher mode is on, right? I was a teacher for a number of years, and I want everyone to be in this kind of group community, and very often we can be a little bit nervous to ask questions, but oftentimes people have the same questions that we're having in our head. So I just want to make sure that we all get the most out of this. So Steve is asking, is there a way to get in touch with Kayleen and speak with her one-on-one? And that's a great question. And yes, I am here to help you in every way that I can. I know it can be hard to find people who you can relate to, and I'm more than happy to help all of you go through whatever you're going through. And that goes for absolutely everyone here. If you want to talk with me about anything that you're going through, send me an email. Again, I do that podcast. I'll put my emails up on the screen actually right now. So, you can ask me a question. Sometimes I'll send back a long email. It does take a couple of days sometimes because it does get filled up, but or a video, or I'll answer it on the podcast and I'll send you the link to that. So don't be shy. Ask me a question. If it's a big question, you can reach me one-on-one. That is how to reach me personally. So thank you for the question, Steve. And I hope I can look forward to an email from you. And again, don't be shy. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Do your thing. Okay, so Pam says, my husband has PTSD. What can I do to help him? I don't know where to start. So another great question. And there's a lot that you can do to help your husband, and showing up to this training is a great start. And learning the right tools to get relief from the symptoms is a great first step. So the first thing I would do is share that workbook that I'm handing out. Is a good foundation for, the relief in the recovery, but there's a lot more steps to fully healing than just getting relief. So the next best step for your husband is to have him personally send me an email directly, so I can get a better handle on his situation and I can help you and him through this difficult time. And I know how hard it is to be in a relationship when one or both parties have PTSD. So both my boyfriend and I actually had PTSD. We were both able to fully recover together, and now we are the happiest that we've ever been, and we can hold each other and finally be calm and relax together. So if you're in a relationship with PTSD, you know kind of how far off that seems. So don't worry, Pam. There's a path to healing for the both of you, right? You have to take care of yourself first and foremost, but ultimately your husband has to reach out for help, because he's the one who has to do the work, or you are the one who has to do the work on you. So just have him send me an email and we can chat. Great questions, everyone. All right, so Susan says, I was abused my entire childhood. I'm now 52. It's been so long. Can I heal? So thank you for asking that question, Susan. The answer is absolutely yes, right? First of all, I'm so sorry that you've been through that. I'm sorry that anyone goes through kind of any sort of pain. My heart breaks for you and for everyone out there. And yes, you can heal. You can live a life of peace and calm. And you know what? Let me just tell you a quick story that should inspire you and change your belief about your own recovery. So a young Japanese girl got PTSD from all of the horrors that she saw during World War II. She lived with PTSD for her entire life. Now, this was over, I think it was 75 years. So at this point, she was in her 80s. And her entire life, she felt hopeless. And she thought that she would be in pain for the rest of her life. I mean, she was in her 80s, right? But once she got on the right path, she healed. And she said that she felt free for the first time in her life. Once she knew the right ways, she was able to heal. And she's not the only one to have done that either. There are so many other stories just like that one. And the point I'm just trying to make with that story is that it doesn't matter what you've been through, how long that you suffered. And when I say it doesn't matter what you've been through, I care so deeply for you and what you've been through. And I don't mean it like that. I just mean no matter where you're at, no matter how far you have to go, how long you've suffered, there is a path. You can get your life back. You can be at peace. You can heal. So yes, my answer is absolutely yes. And I know that you can heal, and I believe in you. And thank you so much for that question. And I do truly believe in you. And again, anyone here, just reach out, send me an email. I am here to help. For those of you who I don't get to your questions, I will do my best later to kind of go through them and answer them via email. So I'm doing my best here, all right? So I just want to kind of answer the big ones, the ones I kind of see the concepts come up a few times here. So great questions. Jack says, I have CPTSD. I don't think I can recover from it. So I think it's just something that I have to accept. And this is a similar question to the one John had a little while ago, right? So thank you for reaching out, John. And I know how you feel, right? I had CPTSD for 17 years. And for most of that time, I had those exact same thoughts. And many people out there like to tell people like us, right, with that CPTSD is a lot different and that you can't heal from it. But the case actually remains the same. You can heal. I'm living proof. I've helped dozens of others make that same transformation. And so the answer to that is you can absolutely recover from this, right? You can absolutely heal. You don't have to accept this as your new reality, right? And so that is kind of my advice for you, along with what we talked about for John, right? Great question, Jack. Okay, a few more here. So Paula says, I have depression with my PTSD and I don't know what to do. I just isolate from everyone because I'm too scared to do anything. So thank you for reaching out, Paula. You're in a really hard spot right now, and it can seem impossible to get out of it. So the first thing I want to say is that you did the right thing coming here today, because the tools that you learned here today are really going to help with the isolation and the fear. And many times the fear controls and confines us to our house, right? We don't leave, we get depressed, we're really hard on ourselves. And I want you to take a second, I want all of you to take a second right now and appreciate all the hardship that you've been through, right? Don't be comparing to anything. Just appreciate the hardship that you've been through. Appreciate yourself. You showed up to this. That's awesome. Give yourself a pat on the back, right? It's likely that you don't appreciate yourself as much as you should. That's human nature. And, you've been through something really, really hard and you've been hurt and it's not your fault. And I want you to bring yourself so much love right now. And I'm sending you all so much love right now. And I want you to realize that you've gone through so much pain and it's normal to feel the way that you feel right now. I'm going to say that again. It's normal for you to feel the way that you feel right now. It's normal for people to have PTSD, depression, anxiety, and everything else after experiencing something so difficult. So you're not broken. You guys are, you're just hurt and you need some healing. And I've been there and it hurts and it's hard. And most of the time we're a lot harder on ourselves than we are to other people. And I always like to think about this. What if someone you love went through what you're going through? Would you tell them the things that you tell yourself? And the answer is almost always absolutely not. We're so much harder on ourselves than others. So everyone here, bring yourself love because you deserve it. And if anyone here is experiencing things like this, again, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. I believe in you, truly, genuinely. I'm here to serve you and spread this hope and this belief. And I can send you some more resources to help with that. And I know we talked about maybe doing some more trainings for you all in the future. So definitely look out for that too. Maybe a depression training. All right, great questions. And Tina says, what did you do to fully recover from your PTSD? And that is an absolutely great question, Tina. Of course, there are a lot of steps that I took to make full recovery, and I can kind of give you a brief overview of what I did. But of course, I could talk about this for the next probably 20 hours. But, when it comes to PTSD recovery, there are three main things that you need. And number one, you need to master your mindset, right? You need to get your head on straight and thinking in the right way, because most people have mindsets that break themselves down. They have mental models that keep them in a constant cycle of construction and destruction. So maybe they make a little progress, but then their brains just tear them back down to zero. And this is like a yo-yo, right? It's this cycle of pain that causes so many people to give up. Secondly, you need a process to consistently heal over long periods of time. So healing your PTSD is not an overnight success deal. Yes, you can heal really quickly and make huge changes in just weeks and months if you know kind of exactly where you're going, but you need the right processes and techniques to heal over the long term to ensure that you're making consistent progress towards full recovery. And lastly, number 3, you need a process to eliminate symptoms permanently. Now, this is where most people get hung up. They just learn how to manage and cope with their symptoms, and they never actually heal the core of their problems. So coping and managing is a recipe for a lifetime of PTSD. And this is what most people do. They learn a few coping techniques and think that that's the only thing they'll ever need. And over time, their symptoms keep coming back up, and eventually it wears them down until they give up altogether and become hopeless. So those 3 things are the things that you need to make a full recovery. Of course, if I could, I would explain the entire process in this quick Q&A, but if you or anyone else here wants to learn more about that, again, send me an email and I'll do a training and we can go through it in depth. So great questions. All right, we'll do one more here. So this is a great question. I get this a lot. So Catherine says, I haven't been diagnosed with PTSD. Will all of this help? Does this apply? Do I need to get an official diagnosis? So great question, Catherine. And I get this a lot. It comes up a lot. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you've been officially diagnosed with PTSD or CPTSD. And PTSD and CPTSD is actually one of the most misdiagnosed things in the industry. So if you're experiencing any of the symptoms of PTSD, then it's likely that you have PTSD, right? Just kind of there's certain criteria you need to meet to officially have PTSD or CPTSD. And you can just kind of look online, but likely it's what you're experiencing. And so you don't need an official diagnosis for these tools to help you. If you're experiencing any of the symptoms that I went over, these in this training, the tools are absolutely going to help. So the answer is no, you don't need one. You can get one if you want, but if you don't have the means to get one, it's likely if you're here for a reason, right? You have kind of a big old hunch that you're dealing with either PTSD or CPTSD. And, my answer to that would be, just give it a quick Google search if you feel like that aligns with you. If you feel like what I've talked about here today aligns with you, then you don't really need to go any further. Trust yourself. All right. All right. So awesome. That is all the time I have here for questions today. So I'm going to have to end it there. And if you ask a question again and I didn't get to it, don't worry, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer them via email. So if you didn't get your question answered here on the training today, just keep a lookout for an email from me in the next few days. All right. So I just wanted to share my podcast with you all really quick. Again, I said my boyfriend Brad and I run a daily 5 days a week podcast called PTSD TV. So it's free, right? It's a podcast. We also do it on YouTube. But if you search PTSD TV in any podcast app, or if you just Google PTSD TV, you're going to be able to find us. And this is a really unique podcast because every day we give you action steps and advice to help you along your healing journey. So both Brad and I fully recovered from PTSD. Him PTSD, me, actually both of us CPTSD. So you get a unique and positive look into what it really takes to heal from PTSD. And that's really important. And I want to tell you that again, right? You get a positive look and you get action steps. And I'm not here to pump my tires. I'm not here to promote myself, right? I'm here to give and to serve. And truly, this podcast gives you, it's action based. The recovery journey is action based, and I don't want to sound hard. I hope I'm not coming off as harsh for you all. I love you all and I want to help you, and that means you need to take action, right? And we're here to give you those actions. So it's a positive input. We do them 5 days a week. Mondays motivation, Tuesdays are PTSD book club, Wednesday we do a PTSD recovery workshop, Thursdays PTSD and relationships, and again you get those both sides. And it's not only romantic relationships that we talk about. And Friday is our PTSD TV Q&A. So it's awesome. And again, inputs like this are really important because, like I mentioned before, recovery is about consistency. And jumping on the podcast with Brad and I every day is really going to help you be consistent and successful on this journey. And it's like we're right there with you. So if you don't have anyone, we're here to love you and support you and give and serve to you. So it's really amazing. And again, I'm not here to promote myself, but it'll give you some amazing actions that you can take on your healing journey. So again, definitely check it out after the training. It's called PTSD TV, and you can find it by Googling that language, right? PTSD TV, or by searching it on your favorite podcast platform. All right, so we are coming to an end here. Thank you all so much for showing up to the training today. I hope you implement these tools because they will really be life-changing, and I've had a lot of fun being on here with all of you today. I love doing these trainings. I love giving and serving to you, and I want to let you all know that I truly appreciate the time that you've given to me here today. And I know all of you are going through something extremely hard, but there is a way through it. You can heal. You can live a life completely free of PTSD, CPTSD, anxiety, depression, and anything else that you're going through. And if you want to connect with me, please send me an email. I'm always happy to help in every way that I can. And, this is it for the training. You can download the workbook right now for free at the link on the screen, or by going to overcomingptsd.info/3 tools workbook. So overcomingptsd.info/3 tools workbook. So a few people there saying thank you. Yes, thank you. I love you. I believe in you. A few people saying the link's not working. So overcomingptsd.info/3 tools workbook. And I'll leave the screen up for a little while so you can get the link right. And I hope you enjoy the free workbook. You're going to love it. And I hope to connect with you all soon. Again, I had so much fun being with you here today. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, I believe in you. I love you. You can do this. Reach out to me with anything that you have. And I hope to connect with you all very, very soon.